Hey guys, this is April from Giggle Glitter Graphics, and today I'm making some decorative pages to go into my Christmas journal. I'm probably going to cut these up and kind of use pieces of them everywhere. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with them yet, but I know I wanted some metallics and some distress paper. So I've got some coffee stained paper here. This is just plain old copy paper that I stuck in leftover coffee. So I've got quite a few sheets of this available. And I have a pile of page paper. This is packing paper that came in some Amazon shipments. I haven't done anything to this yet. I just tore it up so it was kind of the right size, and have a little pile of that. And then I tore some pieces off of a manila envelope. It had that bubble wrap on the inside. And I just like this yellow color. I thought it would be fun for the Christmas journal. I have a lot of gold in my journal. So I thought I would paint on this a little bit. Some of the supplies I'm using, I made my own spray bottles of paint. This is just regular acrylic paint. I have a bin of paint that I probably shouldn't have. And so I have all different kinds of paints. I did go with a lot of metallics today. I have a metallic green, metallic red, which was really thick. It was a little interesting to work with, and some gold, copper, silver. And I do have one just kind of yellow oxide for something a little less shiny. And I'm using the green yellow. I don't have a spritz bottle of this made up yet, but I might make one before the end of the video. We'll see. I got these little bottles off of Amazon. You can reuse any bottle for any spray product you have, like bath and beauty products, that kind of thing. I put about a third of the bottle filled with paint, and then how much water you need just depends on how thick your paint is. I started with, so I had about a third of paint. I probably did about that much in water, shook it up really, really good, sprayed it, and if it's coming out like a jet stream, you probably need to add more water to get a little more of a mist. Unless you want a jet stream, and then have at it. It really depends on what effect you want to come out of the bottle. But these were really inexpensive. It was $10 for 12 of these bottles. And then I filled them with paint and water that I already had. So I'm gonna play with these today. I've also got some stencils, and I'm using, this is a makeup brush, an inexpensive e.l.f. makeup brush. I'm gonna use this as my stenciling brush today and do a little dry brushing inside some stencils and see what kind of effect we can get there. So let me gather some supplies up and we'll get started. All right, so we're gonna work with the packing paper first. I have, let's see, get the tab. Got this pretty stencil. I'm gonna do this section here and just grab some white paint. You don't want it to be too blobby, but you also don't want to be too light. So it depends on how strong you want your pattern. I want it pretty strong. I'm going to go over this quite a bit with other things. So I want this pattern to show through at least some at the end stage. So I'm just going to fill the center of this big pattern. A little bit much. I'm not taping this down or anything. I'm not worried about it shifting a bit, or by the time we're done with it, you will know the difference. All right, that all filled in. And let's get this one too. Might have got a little heavy with that. That's okay. All right, let's take that off. So we've got kind of a pattern going there, and we're not worried about sharp edges and having it all crisp and clean and nice, because we are going to buff all kinds of other things over top of this, and you're just going to get the suggestion of this pattern at the end. So now we're going to layer colors right on top of this. You probably want to let your white dry a little bit, and let's use a little bit of this bright green just for fun. I'm gonna take some of this. This you definitely want to dab some of the paint off. We just want to tint the paper. So I'm gonna try it over here a little bit. some white left in the brush. There we go. So it kind of just buffs the color onto the paper. Tinting some of that up. All right, we're gonna let that dry. All right, I've rinsed my brush out just to get that white and green paint out because now I want things to be a little less mushy. And I grabbed some the red metallic paint. And I'm gonna start just kind of layering that over. And Cat is playing in the packing paper on the floor. We're gonna just start layering that over. And then let that dry. All right, I've rinsed my brush out again, and I'm gonna repeat that one more time with the metallic green, just to get a little more depth in here. And then we're gonna move on to the spray paint. All right, next up, spray bottles. All right, so I've got a box here. This is just a shipping box. I've got this to protect all of my surfaces from spray paint. I don't want this going all over the place. And I just grabbed the yellow paint. I'm giving it a really good shake. This paint is kind of thick. We're gonna give it a little test spray over. And we're just gonna give this a little spritz. And let's follow up. Make sure you shake your paints really well every time because it's going to separate. Let's go with some gold. You can see where that has kind of come out in a stream. I like that. I'm going to work with that. That's fun. That paint might still be a little on the thick side. Let's see. I think I'm going to leave it like that. We're going to let that dry. I'm going to hit it with a hair dryer just to speed up the process. I'm going to regret this. A little more gold. Let's see. Let's try it over here. There we go. There. Okay, I'm happy with that. Stop while you're ahead. All right. So I'm going to hit that with a hair dryer, dry it up, and then I think we're going to put a little distress ink on it, and then this piece is done. All right, I've got it all dry. I just used a hair dryer on it, and I'm using some walnut stain distress ink, and I'm just kind of buffing it over the paper, and it's picking up, because the paper has wrinkled from all of the paint, and it's picking up all of these kind of raised areas and adding more dimension. I kind of like the effect that that is giving. You can use any colors for this. This is just what I grabbed. I try not to think about it too hard. And then end up with analysis paralysis. So I think that's good for now. Until I know exactly what I'm going to use it for, and then I'll probably end up cutting it or tearing it or inking the edges, that kind of a thing. But I'm going to call this one done. So I'm not going to record all of the pages that I'm going to do. I'm going to go kind of a spree, but I will get those done and then do a quick little flip through so that you can see what other patterns I came up with the same technique. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stencil I'm gonna dry brush, I'm gonna spritz and use distress ink on different papers and see what designs I end up with. Alright, so I've whipped up a few more papers. I just made a few. I don't want to make too many. It's addictive and I just want to keep going. But I've got, let's see, this one I used a lot of browns. I actually got a little green. There was some green on the stencil when I was putting the brown on, and it turned into this brownish green, which I really like. I used these smaller stencils and I did different textures so that I could cut it up. I probably won't use these as full sheets in the journal. I'm gonna cut them in half or cut them into quarters or tear pieces off. And then I sprayed some metallics on there and a little of that yellow spray, and I really like how this one came out. Honestly, this one's my favorite. I did kind of a red-green split here. I did spray the red on and thought it looked a little murdery, so I went over it with some gold. so that way though I have a little bit of a golden red and a little golden green to work with. This was our original piece of packing paper. Here's another piece of the coffee stain paper with just greens and coppers and yellows on it. I thought maybe like a little lace border might be fun to put on one of the pages. I'm not sure. I will know whenever I see it where I'm going to use these. And then this was a piece of the manila envelope. I probably will work around this little piece of logo that's left on it. I have mixed feelings about this one. I'm curious to see how it works out. I might just like the plain paper better as just a punch of yellow in the book. But you never know. I'm going to find out. I'll be using these in my next video where I'm going to start decorating my Christmas junk journal. I have not done any work in this yet, so except for adding a couple of my mini kits already. So I'm looking forward to getting started on that. I have all kinds of goodies kind of set up on my table waiting to go. So if you'd like to see how I use these, check out that video when it's available. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.